Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite 420 podcast. This is your main host, Chino, with my co-host, Jordan.
Yo,
It's
yo,
been, what is it, 22 days into the first, uh, like the
first year,
first new year. Yeah, right.
right? Yep. So 2020,
2024.
2024.
Yeah,
I
so
still, I still don't even put the year right. Every time they ask for the date, I still put 23. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like a new year.
for sure, I know to all those people who be doing that, including myself. It'd be like
Mm-hmm.
that. We still got like a few more weeks until we all know that it is the number 24, guys. So today's special guest in the podcast. Today we actually have Nadia. How's it going? Thank you for coming to the podcast. You're actually the first guest of 2024. So let's, ready to kick it off, right? And the stoner way, you feel me?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So if you can just tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am 25. I am currently in Michigan. I got into the cannabis industry because it really helped me heal as a person and motivate me to do more things with my life. And I really wanted to help people understand the plant more instead of having all the misconceptions I had when I first heard about it.
For sure. And then what part of Michigan you're currently you stay at?
I'm in Detroit.
Okay, okay. So I know right now the Detroit Lions are kind of hot right now with the
Yup.
NFL playoffs. So I'll give you guys props.
Yep.
But are you born and raised over there in Michigan or?
I'm actually originally from Florida. I moved to Michigan 2 years ago to explore the recreational cannabis industry, but I spent most of my life in Florida, and my family's from the Caribbean.
Okay, okay. And then how's Michigan out there like compared to Florida? I believe is Florida legal state for cannabis?
Florida is medically legal. I want to say medical with big quotation marks because basically anyone can get a medical card. Whereas up here in Michigan, it's medical and recreational, and people are very open about their cannabis use.
Yeah, actually, I've been to Michigan, I could say 3 times. And it's very different, the community from here in Chicago to over there in Michigan, that's for sure. And it's actually, I say it's a very welcoming community out there. For the times that I've gone personally, and
Right.
it's just a different atmosphere. Actually, like everyone's very welcome, like I said, and it's all about like I guess everyone's also getting trying to get educated as well out there, and it's like very open. Like I see more people tend to be okay with it, and it's like less people out here, which is still still a little new thing, although it just became legal recreationally in like 2020.
Hmm.
So I know that right here out in Illinois and stuff, it's still like a big like progress and to getting through the right directions and stuff like that. Although we do have like the events and also like small programs that help people within the industry itself.
No, I will say too, the quality out there in Detroit is way different than out here. Just based on price wise and just the overall quality out here, you're gonna get something dry out there. It's gonna be something that's always good and moist. You know what I mean?
I agree to an extent. Yes.
Why do you say to an extent?
Um, Well, I moved to Michigan back in 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and when I first moved here, there was a big boom happening in the recreational industry. At least like 50 to 100 new brands were created between 2021 to now. And
Mm-hmm.
so, because we have so many different brands here in the state, there's such a wide variety of quality, I guess. You have some decently priced flower, which you could tell was grown in a good facility, but still may have been sprayed with something because the nugs are a bit hard.
Right.
And sometimes you find some really, really good bud, and it's only like maybe $30 an eighth. And then you see some $60 eighths, and you're like, oh, I'm assuming it's going to be good quality because it's so expensive and it's from an artisan grow and everything. And you get it and it's dry. So it really depends on what company and how they grow it.
Yeah,
It's a 50-50.
yeah, I will agree with you on that because some of the stuff that Chino has brought back, he's got it for a relatively good price, but it just depends on the actual grower. Like Chino, we were smoking that blackberry kush the other day.
Oh yeah,
It was
from
pretty
the
good
brand
to
Play.
play, yeah. It was pretty good, and I know you got it for a decent price, but then I remember you got some other stuff for like 60, and it was all right, but it wasn't the best. You could tell like it was maybe grown outdoors, had a little bit, stems on it. The color was just a little bit dark. So I do agree with you on that. That I think it's depends on the growers and the actual company.
Yep.
So how has it changed from like the from the time that you moved to Michigan till now? Like any comparison from back then till now? Like any difference?
When I first came to the state, you could tell that it was definitely recreationally focused, and there was often a connection between like cannabis and club culture, cannabis and rap culture. Um, whereas nowadays, you can tell that some companies are still maintaining that bond, but are also trying to go back into Michigan's roots with their first genetics, connecting more with Michigan-based growers, and also taking the time to educate people about the plant. Like it's not like, oh, check out our white runs and it's 28% THC. It's total fire, man. Whereas nowadays it's like, hey, here's this lava cake, here's the terpene profile. You're gonna expect it to taste sweet and you're gonna feel great and calm and sociable.
See, and I like that part um about the cannabis experience. I'm more about the terpenes. Like I know like when I was younger, I used to be the exact opposite where I was like, no, just give me the most THC. I want something that's gonna give me the most fried, you know what I mean? But I feel like as you mature through the community and like through mature through, cannabis usage, um I feel like it's gonna be the opposite where now I'm more focused on the terpenes. I want something that's gonna give me a good high where I'm not too tired, you know what I mean? Something that keep me uplifted.
Same. I prefer limonene in a lot of my products.
Hmm.
Keeps me happy, keeps me giggly. I also like for it to have a little bit of myrcene, but not too much, because you do want to be relaxed when you smoke, but you don't always want to be so relaxed that you just pass out. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
You more of like an indica like person? I mean, not indica,
Um,
sorry, like a hybrid.
I guess so. I have like different strains for different things that I want to do.
Okay, I see. So like pretty much you kind of smoke depending like how you want your day to go by.
Yeah, like I'll have one strain to give me energy in the morning. I have something else to motivate me to work out, something else to make me creative so I can make more content. Uh, different stuff for different things.
And like how you said, like you tend to yeah, like schedule like not schedule, but like have your certain type of strains for different certain type of times throughout your day. Like I feel like it's still within the industry community itself sometimes for some certain consumers, I feel like they tend to not know exactly how to shop. And that would be I feel like a good way to shop in a dispensary. Uh but from basic experience here in a dispensary here in Illinois, I feel like we don't get that much of a like educational side, like how you said, like the
Hmm.
bud tender would come to you and tell you about the terpenes profile, but yeah, like you will feel this and that. Here, it's more like you're on your own. You tend to go to the kiosk, and that's pretty
They
much
just
how
give you an
you.
iPad. That's
Yeah,
it. They just like pick something out and then you just, you like you said too, you don't get much help. They really just give you an iPad and they tell you to pick something out, and you don't know whether It's you don't know what you're getting.
Yeeks. That sounds like a lot of the dispos that I first worked out when I was in Florida.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Um, Even though Florida is a medical state, there there's the dispensaries that you can tell are truly for medical use that take the time to educate you about the strains, the different consumption methods, and try and help you stay on your doctor recommended plan. And then there are the dispos, like we're clearly a recreational company. We're trying to sell you gas and sell you a lifestyle. You just have to go with what we got. We're not really going to take the time to explain how things are.
And I feel like even within like, smokers who do smoke often and, people who are starting to get into smoking cannabis or just consuming cannabis, I feel like in general, I feel like that should be like a major big thing because I feel like you're putting more like somebody in through like experience or just a pathway through something that they're not trying to get to you or trying to experience in a way. Like I don't understand how I guess to some people you have to I guess come within some type of knowledge into this industry, whether if it's like you trying to be working in the industry or even just you shopping within the industry.
You kind of have to be self-educated. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, which is I feel like it's kind of not fair or because again like although yeah we have the internet and all but sometimes I feel like it's still you'll get the more better experience or the better understanding of somebody walking you through it.
I mean, I feel like everybody would rather have that experience. It's just everybody doesn't have that type of market in their state to do that, you know? Like yeah, I'm pretty sure like I'm not sure if Nadia can contest, but I'm pretty sure in Michigan they have more places where they're kind of more accommodating rather than over here.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of y'all. And that's kind of the reason why I started my Instagram account. When I was in Florida, it took me a long time to learn certain things. Working in the dispensaries was very competitive. And after spending like 3 years learning what I could at different dispensaries and different positions in the industry, I was like, yo, I wish somebody was just out there telling me, hey, heads up, this is kind of how a dispensary is, or hey, you shouldn't be shopping like this. You're better off long term shopping like this. So I just put out the content that I wish somebody had told me, like when I first got into the industry. Because people either they want to gatekeep that and make you pay for that info, or they're very selective about giving that out because they see you as some sort of competition in the industry. And it shouldn't be like that. We should be able to freely give information about different things we learn because it's still very new. We're still learning about the plant. We're still learning about different cannabinoids. We're still learning about different consumption methods and stuff. It should be easier for our community to grow if we're willing to give information to each other.
Now, on your Instagram, what would you say is the most like prevalent problem that people run into that you help them with?
I'd say trying to get them to not see cannabis one way. Like
Mm,
most people are introduced to cannabis in different ways and they stick to that one method because that's all they know. Like
mm-hmm.
maybe you first learned about it by smoking weed at a party, or
Right.
maybe you heard about it because your uncle had cancer and you were willing to try anything to try and help out with their pain.
Okay, okay. I can definitely see that. I feel like it would be beneficial if people could see multiple views on it rather than, like you said, just looking at it from one way.
But
Right.
I feel like that's the thing though. The thing like the people who understand the plan and all that is like that other point of view. That's the other half, you feel me? Like the like it's just either like how Nadia was saying, you got either two ways, either what you learn by I guess doing it for the first time or based
Mm-hmm.
on like what family is like teaching you or just by what you've been taught as you were growing up. You feel me? Like although I consume cannabis, yet I was growing up, I was taught, cannabis is bad and X, Y, and Z. But yeah, like I decided to, if I'm gonna inhale this and put this in my body, like why not just actually research and try to know everything that you can about, cannabis, because at the end of the day, it really is like a beneficial thing more than what it could really harm you.
And I think,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think that's something that should be spread, more often.
And then for how long have you been doing having your page for?
Um, I think I started it in 2021, so almost 3 years.
Okay. And within like doing your page and all, like any type of like collaboration with other cannabis industry people have you done with, or it's just strictly just been working with yourself only?
I have collaborated with a couple of creators over the years, not that many. This year, I'm
Mhm.
trying to put myself out there more and meet more people and build more connections, but just a handful so far.
Okay, for sure.
What would you
Um,
say? Sorry to cut you
no,
off, Kina.
you got my bad.
What would you say is your niche in the community? Like, what if someone were to ask you, like, what's the one thing that you are fully knowledgeable about? What would you say?
Well, at first I was going to say education, but I guess I would say finding the right strain for you or
Mm.
finding the right consumption method for you. Because I truly believe that everyone can benefit from cannabis if they can find the right strains and the right consumption methods for them. It's not that scary.
Yeah, I think that's what plays into the problem is people don't know how to consume, and that's where the bad views come into play, where they've had a bad experience or a bad trip, and then they just view it as something negative.
Right.
I feel like mostly it would be like with the edibles.
We were talking about that, me and Nadia, before the show. I told her that I've never had like an experience where I've wanted to get the amount of high that I wanted. Like I've always been way too high for my own good every time I've taken an edible.
Loki, yeah. I mean, I think that it's because I look for it, to be honest. Like I'm trying to get super baked when with the edibles, you feel me?
But I feel like it should be a different experience, especially like how far it's gone now. Like you should be able to, get the own dosage that you want, not be too messed up. You know what I mean? Be at the level that you want to be and give you the effects that you want.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think you got like these own butter magic butter machines and these was it Levo. So at
Yeah.
the end of the day, like you can end up cooking your own food if you like, confused or not.
Yeah, Nadia was telling me how to break down the dosage too. If you want to re-explain that, Nadia.
Yeah, so there's a lot of websites out there that'll help you figure out your dosage per tablespoon and per cup of THC. All you have to do is just look at the amount of THC is in your flour. Let's say you buy an ounce from the dispo and it's 18%. You put it in the calculator and you put in what type of oil you use or butter because different mediums are going to retain different potencies and you just calculate it online and it'll tell you. I usually use it for my coconut oil, my olive oil, and my butter.
By any chance, do you know the link to that website?
Oh yeah, I have like several. I'll send them to y'all.
Oh yeah, for sure. If anything, we could like drop them right now, like as we speaking right now. But like at least one we'll drop, and that we'll drop the rest in the description, guys. But that's pretty cool. I actually didn't know that there was like a website like that. I actually do have a was it Levo level machine. I haven't
The
really,
little butter machine you had.
yeah, like
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
oil and all. Like I haven't really used it in a while. But I probably like used it a couple times, but I feel like I've been using it wrong. But I should low-key now try that. That calculator seems very useful, especially for like starters.
Right. Let me try and pull it up.
What's your favorite like type of food to infuse?
Ooh, that's gonna be a tie between wings, and chocolates. And the calculator I like to use the most is Very Heal.
All right, but we can send
Y'all
it.
heard it first, guys. Vera Hill.
Yeah, we can look. He just send it as well. Well,
No, but yeah, wings sound fire. I've never tried no infused wings. That sounds fire.
how would you
Um,
how would you infuse the wings?
Usually I'll get some infused butter, or I'll take some infused olive oil and I'll incorporate that with the barbecue sauce and the seasonings, or with the dry rub, and then I'll just rub it in the chicken, let it sit there between, I'd say, 4 hours to overnight, and then cook them the next day.
Dang, that sounds fire. I'm gonna have to do that next time I make some like cannabis butter or something. Do you
Yep,
think
that.
do you think if I do have some vegetable oil too. Do you think that would be fine if I like, covered it in there and then seasoned it?
Yeah, you could. I'd probably recommend, if you're trying to do something like, say, some barbecue wings, do
Mm-hmm.
about 1 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil to half a cup of barbecue sauce, add your seasonings, let it rub in there and sit there for a couple of
Mm.
hours.
See, I didn't even think about that too. I might be able to do it in a buffalo sauce as well.
Yep, I do it with jerk chicken all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That sounds good.
fire. That's pretty fire. But how often do like you infuse your foods?
I'd say on the daily at this point. I have different doses for different times of the day. I'll have a slightly lower dose for work, like something between 40 to 60 milligrams around lunchtime. But if I'm chilling at home, like maybe 80 to 100 milligrams.
Yeah. Have you done anything over 100 milligrams?
Yeah, I'd say my highest dose was probably, how much is in a syringe of RSO? 800 to 900 milligrams. I'll do that like maybe once a month if I really want to get to sleep fast, or if I feel like, okay, I just want to wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed.
Oh my God.
That's
That
crazy.
sounds like a good way to go to sleep, honestly.
Every time I've taken more than like 500 milligrams, I've always like tried to go to sleep to not be high. I'm like, I don't want to be high anymore, and then just like try to fall asleep. It's it's definitely a trip once you take more than 500 milligrams, I would say.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's definitely a difference between like eating it and drinking it.
Yeah,
That's
because it gets absorbed differently, right?
It does.
it's just because I think one goes to your blood cells, right? I believe because of the liquid or the bloodstream,
One'll
something like that.
one'll get ingested by your small intestine faster than if you were to eat it directly. If you eat it directly, it's going to be absorbed by your stomach quickly. Whereas if you drink it, your liver is going to process it, your small intestine is going to process it a little bit slower.
So, like for example, like for you, because yes, for instance, like if you were to drink one, how much of the effect do you feel in one can or one bottle of a THC drink?
Oh, if it's something bought at the dispo, it'll take me like 2 to 3 drinks. If it's something that I make at home, probably 1 to 2 shots. Because at the dispos, they only offer like seltzers or sparkling lemonade. Whereas at home with my magical butter machines, I can do infused liquor.
And how
Dang,
is
that
that
sounds wicked.
process?
I just take some, depends on how I'm feeling. I could do like a regular liquor or a brandy and put it in my magical butter machine, but most of the time I use alcohol-free whiskeys, alcohol-free tequilas and vodkas.
Okay. And you just put it in like your magic butter machine?
Yeah, you just set it to the lowest temperature, do it between 2 to 4 hours, strain it, put it back in the bottle, and you have some infused alcohol.
Oh wow.
That
And how
sounds
does
fire.
yeah, how does that taste? Does it taste like more of like the liquor still, or you taste like that weed, like the weed?
If I'm doing something like eggnog or rum chata, I don't really taste the weed that much. It tastes
Mhm.
more like a kind of like a hot chocolate drink. Whereas if I have it in a rum or a tequila, it burns. It truly burns.
Yeah, I would
I can
imagine too.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that does sound fire though. Good way to turn up on a Friday
Absolutely.
or
And I
any day.
also I notice I don't feel uh, actually I don't feel hungover at all really whenever I try and infuse liquor compared to just regularly having a couple shots of Bacardi or something.
I'm sure because of like the THC and I figure, right? Like it'll like overtake.
Yeah, I guess I feel the effects of the THC faster, and I also notice I don't have to drink as much. Like, say, taking 3 shots of rum and starting to feel it compared to just 1 shot of infused rum, and you are feeling it within 20 minutes.
Okay. And like for like going back to like the dispensary ones, like for an like everyday smoker, like um, is it even worth trying it?
Uh, I guess it depends on how you want to feel. Like, if you're a daily smoker and you're like, I want a light pick me up, I don't want anything to make me feel too relaxed, then you could benefit from having a seltzer. But if you're someone who's like, I want to drink this and kind of feel very relaxed, like an edible, I wouldn't really recommend it.
Uh, yeah, I tend to because I ask every time I go just to see what's everybody's intake on it. Um, and I can kind of get the same answer, and it's like, yeah, if you kind of do smoke every day or are a heavy smoker, then you won't would feel a little bit, but not too much.
have you ever tried one from the dispensary like that, like a drink, Chino?
No, I haven't. I just get iffy about it. Every time I look
Mm.
at it, I'm like, is it really worth it? If like I'm not too sure, especially here in Chicago with the prices we have here. Like I don't think it's really worth it.
And I've
But
never seen anything over 100 milligrams. Like the most I've
Wait,
seen is like 50 and 100.
wait, you guys get 50 and 100 milligram drinks?
Yeah,
I believe so, yeah.
Man, the highest I've ever seen over here is like 15 or 20 milligrams. I wish they had
what?
50 and 100.
Really?
Well, I've seen like I don't know if you ever seen like the THC lean. Like this was back when I was like younger too. They used to have that too, but this was like before dispensaries. You would like get that off the street, but I
Hold on.
I I know they have some in dispensaries now today too.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me.
Those are hot in the dispos here, especially along 8 Mile and in Metro Detroit. But
Yeah,
I'm just too scared to try it, honestly.
yeah. I honestly like it just put me straight to sleep when I tried it. Like that's really just more of a body high and just put you straight on put you straight to sleep.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out real quick for. Yeah, hold on.
Well, you trying to look up the THC lean?
Yeah, yeah. For like just an example, this bow here. Uh,
Yeah, no, but even then, Nadia, like the ones I've tried now in dispensaries, like the seltzers, they really don't even do anything.
uh,
Yeah,
just
I
going
feel
through.
like most people are better off just making their own edibles nowadays. You just need
Mm.
to have the right bases, and you can basically make anything into an edible.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel more people are just, prone to doing sweets, you know what I mean? Because that's the classic thing to do. But people don't know that they could do drinks, any other type of food that they want. I know you were talking about Caribbean food earlier. I would want to try to do maybe some like Puerto Rican food too. That's what I've been wanting to try. Maybe like fuse the rice somehow.
That'll be fire.
Yeah, right. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how to go about it. That's the thing.
Oh, that's super easy. I do it all the time. So it depends on if you want to use THC powder versus using oil. If you have THC powder, when you're getting ready to boil the rice and you add your saffron and all your seasonings and stuff,
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
throw it in then, put it on low and let it cook for 25 minutes. Uh, That's one way to do it. Another way you can do it is if you're trying to fry the rice or add some meats and stuff to it,
Mm-hmm.
use some infused oil and do like a 1-to-1 ratio of that and regular oil.
Mm-hmm. See that the second method is what I would what I would try as well. But the THC powder, what do you mean by that? Is it like just the white crystals that I see online and stuff? Like the stuff that they would use to infuse like I'm trying to think of the word.
Okay,
Um
hold, hold
go
on,
ahead, Chino.
hold on. But I just wanted to show you guys real quick, like a dispensary out here in like in the suburbs nearby the crib. So like yeah, how Jordan was saying, like tonic one right here for $20, but like after taxes is like roughly like around like almost 50, you can say.
Yeah, I've seen those before,
Yeah.
but I feel like the CBD is gonna like balance it out.
But yeah, because it's
Like
a
I'd
one to
rather
one
just have
ratio.
yeah, like I'd rather just have the THC.
Another THC, like this one, I don't know.
That 5-in-1 looks doesn't even have a picture down.
Nah, but look at that.
That looks shiesty. I don't even.
But yeah, um, that's crazy. Um, but what you were saying, Jordan, my bad. I just wanted to low
No,
key
no,
just
you're all
show you
good.
real quick.
No,
Uh,
I was just asking about the powder because like online I've seen like this white type of powder, like the water soluble powder. I'm not
mhm.
sure if that's what that you which Nadia was talking about.
Yeah. There are two types of powder. There's the concentrate powder, which is
Hmm.
usually made from THCA crystals, but
Hmm.
I'm talking about the dissolvable powder made from tapioca starch and stuff.
Okay, and that has more of like a green color to it, correct?
Um, in my experience, the homemade version is, but the store-bought is
Mhm.
usually like a pure white, like a almost like a light flower.
Okay. What did you say that was again? I'm gonna write that down.
THC dissolvable powder.
All right.
I like to use Ripple.
All right.
So like
Yeah,
since
no, that sounds good.
you were saying that your family is like from the Caribbean, so how do they feel about the cannabis and you being in the industry?
Okay, so my
It's about to get
parents,
good. It's about to get
my
good.
parents are
Right?
sh my parents are straight from Trinidad. They are old school. I'm talking you wear red lipstick and wear shorts that are to your knees. You're a whore type old school.
Oh
So
wow.
when they heard that I no longer wanted to become a therapist and that I wanted to enter cannabis,
Hmm.
yeah, they were enraged.
What made you transition from being a therapist to cannabis?
Um, I felt like okay, so I graduated and I was getting ready to do my master's program, and I was reading over the guide and reading over like all the classes I had to take for like pharmaceutical recommendations and helping people get onto a plan and stay on a plan. And I kind of felt uncomfortable because I knew a lot of the medications that the schools recommended and stuff had a lot of negative side effects. And I was like, I don't want to contribute to an issue where people are trying to seek help and instead they're put in a haze and they're not really helped. They just develop more and more problems and have to take more and more pills. So when I decided to use cannabis more in my life and it helped me become healthier, more open-minded, uh, I really wanted to do that for other people. So I was like, you know what? I don't want to be someone who recommends medications to people. I want to recommend alternative holistic routes and help them find solutions for themselves.
I totally respect that. Especially with like how you were saying with the medications, like yeah, like doctors say that yeah, these medications do help. But at the end of the day, like depending on on what the uses is and the dosage and it really leads to. Because at the end of the day, like some of these pills are really just like drugs, like especially with opioids. Like at the end of the day, you get more addicted than if you were to just take cannabis, and they both could be helpful for like the same type of pain.
Exactly.
But especially like I've been like deep into like the pharma industry, like just based on some type of like docu-series I've seen and just a little research I've done on my own. But like it's pretty messed up though, like what these people have done and were able to like just kind of get away with it for so long.
Right. Like we could honestly solve a lot of our issues nowadays with a lot of conditions if people were allowed to explore alternative routes. But we're constantly taught that you should trust your doctor and trust the medications, and whatever pill they give you is going to be good for you. And we need to get out of that mindset.
For sure, totally. But at the end of the day, like I think I've told Jordan before many times, and it's like I think it's just a bigger prob situation. It would be if cannabis really would be legal federally, just because of again everyone would mostly go towards it. And it'll affect the pharmaceutical industry for sure. And then based on like if like what these big corporations really do run the this whole country, and with this whole like pharmaceutical industry as well.
Yeah, and I know like in previous episodes we've talked about this before. And I've given my opinion too, like the whole pharmaceutical world too. I feel like people don't realize it's more of a business than anything, you know what I mean? I might be a little bit biased in my viewpoint, but like especially how Nadia was saying earlier, how the whatever they're prescribing or whatever they're giving now is going to keep people in a haze. They're going to keep people coming back. You know what I mean? Because more than anything, they want to keep you on the chain of keep getting more and more and more pharmaceutical drugs. I feel like their goal is not to make people better. Their goal is just to keep you coming back.
Yeah, I mean, why would you stop a return customer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially and I feel like most people don't realize that, and I've pushed this point multiple times. I feel like, people don't realize that it's more of a business than anything.
And every prescription is like every sale to them, so it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
why not write it off? Come on.
Yeah.
Get you addicted to fucking opioids and shit. That's crazy, man.
Yep.
But I don't know. We're tend to believe what people tell us, and that's kind of like not the move. But like speaking like these type of like on top of this type of topic, like have you seen that movie Leave the World Behind? It's on Netflix.
No, I haven't heard of it actually.
No, oh okay. I say you guys should watch it if you guys haven't. It's
I've
called
seen previews.
it's
It's
called Leave. Say
yeah,
it,
no, go
Jordan.
ahead. No, no,
Oh,
I've seen a little bit of it. I know like the overall like idea of it, that there's like no phones or whatever or something like that,
well,
or was it?
it's yeah, it's just it seems very just real realistic on the way that if the world were to end. So it's like kind of like a world ending movie,
Mm,
but like just the way they make it seem like it's very like psychological, you can
mm.
say. And
Hmm.
the crazy thing about it is like the former President Barack Obama, like I think wrote part of it or directed or like I know he was involved in this movie though, which was very it's interesting.
Okay, I'll have to give it a watch.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie. To give it a try. I feel like it's not a lot of people are really talking about it, but it's just like I feel like it's like a what if situation. Because then again, like I'm not too sure if you guys like seen on social media or not, but like you got like two very famous people. You got one was is Mark Zuckerberg, and the other recent person I seen was Rick Ross that are making um like Doomdays um what are those called? Like the ones that they can go underground.
Oh, bunkers.
Bunkers.
Bunkers,
Yeah,
yeah, like they're
yeah.
making like bunkers and shit. What the fuck?
They must know something that we don't.
That's
I
crazy
don't
though.
know.
And it's crazy because it's like right now, like, like a lot of shit's going on in the world too.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
what about what's your intake on all that now? Yeah, like are you like into like all this like are like these events going on and stuff like
I I am aware of a lot of events going on. I just I guess I'm after seeing how a lot of people out of country to COVID
wait, I'm sorry, you kind of cut off.
collectively trash. Like we have opportunities to come together to help one another and to help out, but there are so many people who are like, no, I want to do the best thing for me, or no, what I say is right and I will not consider any other evidence. It it made me realize that, oh, we have the opportunity to really help each other out, and yet a lot of people just simply choose not to.
I feel that goes
Why?
back. I feel like that goes back to human nature though. Like I feel like as long as there's like multiple politicians in power and like I just feel like it's never gonna be able to be something that's productive.
Eh,
But I don't know. That's just my
agree.
viewpoint on things.
I, I don't know, but
I'm sorry, but I think you're still kind of cutting off. I'm not sure.
places had a sense of community more so, whereas now people are kind of just fending more for themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
But h- how do you see that though? Well, before you answer that, like, what were you most, what were you? I'm trying to phrase my question. Sorry. Um, so you were studying to be like therapist or psychology. So like, what type of like were you in a specific type of field in psychology, or like you were trying to work in the field, or
What type of career would did you want
Um,
out of the degree?
yes.
well, at first, I was somebody who was really involved in research, especially like experience and stuff like that. But then, closer degree, I was interested in being a couples therapist,
Oh, what
That's
again? I'm
that's
sorry.
sex therapist for queer couples. But then I wanted to focus more on mental health, like personal uh, illnesses and stuff, such as helping people with depression, helping people manage their anxiety and stuff. And when I heard about all the pills that were involved in that, I was like, you know what? Let me take a step back.
What is it? It got too much for you at a certain point?
See much more so a business compared to truly helping people. It really made me want to take a step back.
Okay. And like so, wow, okay, so I think you just opened like another whole conversation, but like I think just to just finish it off for what we were just talking back earlier is like so based on like what you were saying, like just everybody just ended up thinking about themselves nowadays. Like what do you think? How do you think on that? Like what's your view on the world now as how it is? Like do you think it's gonna get better? Or it has to like how they say like it gets worse before it gets better type of stuff or
Current period of it being much worse before it gets better. Um, but I do see potentially in the future with our generation the younger generation seems to be less tolerant to taking bullshit and more likely to take action about things that they care about a lot more. I
I
feel like the generation around.
I'm sorry again, but what you said, the new generation, what again? I'm not sure if you're cutting off. It seems like you're cutting off a lot on your end. I'm sorry, Nadia.
It's okay. I said I really think next generation is going to help turn things around as they're less likely to tolerate injustices and more likely to take action with things that they care about.
Okay. It's like, I guess I see it's because I used to work at like in a professional base, and I'm just talking to just very different type of like ages, groups of people, but like going, we had a conversation is like nowadays these new generation is like I guess they're a little more sensitive, but you think that's why I guess to other people they're considered a little more sensitive because they do something about it instead of just I guess holding back.
I think and figure out how to help ourselves navigate through certain situations or maybe keep your head down with certain stuff because it's better to keep quiet and to keep your place than to ruffle other people's feathers. The newer generation is more like, no, this is wrong. I'm going to say it wrong and I'm going to right.
No, I totally agree with that too. I feel like that's the overall norm nowadays, and I feel like that's where the older generation is kind of, more reluctant to, just go back to their old ways where, like you said, they're not gonna put up with any bullshit. Excuse my language.
No, but I totally agree on that. But like, I feel like another thing that's a lot of that's affecting against I think kids nowadays is it's a lot of like the social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like although social media took over a lot, like, in everybody's life, but like I feel like it's just been affecting a lot of kids lately.
Do you think that's what caused for people to be less tolerant about stuff? You know?
That, but I feel like at the same time, like I think it just messes with a kid's mind. Like like the access of a kid to the internet is so big. Like it's just very big. Like little do they know what they could get themselves like into by just looking up something. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next thing you know, they click some other shit, and it just goes like a cycle. And next thing uh, they just end up, seeing shit they're not probably supposed to see or just the wrong type of information.
It's definitely a double-edged sword. It does Social media does help people understand more situations and recognize more injustices because it's right there in your face. You can just pull
Mm-hmm.
out your phone and record things and people can really see things from your perspective. But also, yeah, I agree. It is harming the kids more. Like, hear me saying back in my day, like I'm old as hell. But back in my day, like you had the time and the ability to be a kid. You had the ability to just be a preteen and have those experiences. Whereas nowadays, because phones are just shoved into kids' faces, there's I I just see more of a pipeline of kids trying to act like adults immediately instead of just enjoying themselves, enjoying age appropriate activities. It's like they're rushing to grow up because they see everybody else growing up and doing things online.
With that being said, I feel like that creates a trend of um like emotionally unstable adults nowadays. Just because, like you said too, they do want to grow up fast enough, like faster than like the older generations. And I just think that's sometimes, it could create a trend of like people who are, view themselves as adults but are emotionally, still kids.
Ooh, it's a nail on the head. Because there are so many people like that nowadays.
Yeah. And once you experience like people like that, you know what I mean? It kind of opens up your viewpoint on, people and that the information age and just how it affects everybody.
Right.
No, I feel like it's just more of the guidance nowadays for these kids, because like besides even like social media, like you got out here, kids killing kids, like kids doing like shit that they shouldn't be doing, like again, like how Nadia said, like back in my days, again, I think it's all within our days between us three.
Uh-huh.
But it's like I remember going to school, and just being with my friends and shit.
I feel like we're the last generation that was like able to climb trees and just actually be outside and I remember like not being able to go inside, had to fucking drink from the hose, just because I don't want to go back inside on a summer day or like you know what I mean? I just feel like we're the last generation that would be able to have those memories.
Shit, I didn't even want to go back inside, bro, because
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would know my parents would make
Yeah.
me stay inside once I would come inside. But shit,
Uh-huh.
and no, even with it gets to do with even like more violence now too.
Yeah, true.
Like
But
shit, I remember
different.
like we would have to go to the alley to get, and it'll be like a school fight and shit, like
Mm-hmm.
get all circle up and shit. Like if you gotta get your ass beat, get your ass beat. But now
No,
it's like you bring a knife to a gunfight. You don't know what the fuck the
yeah.
other kid is gonna be having, or
No, and at the same time too, it's like little, it's just the 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that be
yeah,
having
and
that,
it's yeah, and it's sad, man. Like I feel like at that point is like shit. Like, is there really no future? But at the same time, like I feel like it's between us and even I think these kids themselves to figure it out. Like there's so much thing that everyone could do, but the rest is like it depends on your own self.
But I feel like it's on the adults too because they're the ones who are handing them, the phone or the iPad and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like if I were to have children in the future, like I would try to keep devices away from them to at least like 11, 12, something like that.
Hmm.
Like not let them have their own device till maybe that around that age, maybe 10. I don't know.
I don't know, but do you guys really think it's also the like let's say the parents' fault in the situations?
I feel like it's both.
What about you, Nadia?
Hmm. I'd say it's also a combination of societal norms as well as the parents, because like nowadays, people have to work two jobs to maintain a home. So they're barely at home and barely have the time to like, really bond with your kid, sit there and read them books for a few hours and do stuff like that. Sometimes it's just easier for the parent to just hand them a phone and let them entertain themselves because they only have a couple hours a day to relax before they have to continue working. And it sucks because we should be able to work one job and just support the whole family, but these kids are being handed the phones and they just do whatever and see whatever. And it's just considered normal too. Whereas back in our days, it's like, all righty, give them a Barbie doll, give them, those little cardboard books or something. I'd
No,
say a combination of both.
yeah, even today too, like kids today, I feel like they can't play with regular toys. But go ahead, my bad.
No shit. I should. I miss being a kid. I totally miss being a kid, man. Paying these bills and all, bro. It ain't a move.
uh, I feel you.
But nah, but I think everybody should like, especially these kids growing up, man. They should really enjoy the moments they have, because like how they always said in, like at least cheesy ass posts I see, is like you never know when it was the last day you were playing with your boys, like in the
Uh-huh.
playgrounds and shit. Like fuck, but time really flies, man. But it's good. But now I actually have like other questions. We're going in a different direction because like you just mentioned like you were think you were aiming to be like a sex therapist. Is that correct?
I was for
Oh,
queer couples
and how was that? That's interesting.
Why did you want to specifically do queer couples?
because I lived in Florida, and Florida is a very, very conservative state. And I wanted to provide a safe space for queer people, especially for couples, because couples therapy, a lot of couples therapy was like Christian-based therapy,
Hmm.
and not everybody is a Christian and not everybody is straight. So I wanted to provide a safe space for those people.
And for how long you were doing this, like this type of like that type of practice?
I was only in the program for like 2 months, honestly, before I dropped out.
And like what made you th dropped out though? Like,
Um, I was interested in focusing on being just like a regular therapist for people who wanted to like try and alleviate their anxiety and depression and stuff. Um, and then I read about all the pharmaceuticals, and then I just left therapy completely.
so like before you like kind of left the farm, like like the medical and pharmaceutical side, like what ages were you like mostly focused on for like therapists, like for like the depression and stuff like that?
I was going to be focused on teens and young adults, generally those between the ages of 13 to 25.
Okay. And like, did you ever get to like do that practice or?
Oh no, I didn't even get through the first semester.
Oh.
after I, after I read everything and I started researching the classes and researching the role more and more, I was like, "Oh, nah, I don't want to be involved in this."
Oh, okay. Damn. So actually, like studying everything may just made you not want to do it then, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. And at the time, I was researching a lot about the medical benefits of cannabis because the Florida industry was so new at the time. We didn't even have smokable flower. So you had to go into like different cannabis studies to learn about the different cannabinoids and their benefits. You really had to find a whole bunch of different books and learn about strains and stuff. Leafly wasn't anywhere near as good as it is nowadays.
Is it because
So the
it's
more
based there, like in from Florida, or
um I'd say it didn't have as much consumer data as it did before COVID, but during COVID, when a lot of people were staying at home, having their plants delivered to them and stuff, and just smoking at home, more people got into journaling, more people got into recording their overall consumption, and Leafly received more data from more people talking about it. So now we have a wonderful set of data, and you have tens of thousands of strains to find on Leafly, whereas back in 2019, it was like maybe you could find 1,000 to 2,000.
like your basic strains? I'm guessing and all.
Yeah, the OGs like
Hmm.
OG Kush, Jack Herrera, Sour Diesel and stuff. Whereas nowadays it's like, oh, here's White Widow and the entire White Widow family. Here's Gorilla Glue and like the next six generations and all their chirping profiles.
I think number four is always fire. I don't know. I think that's just me, but I think number four is fire.
Which one?
Gorilla Glue number four.
Gorilla Glue number four. She mentioned White Widow. I said I would say that White Widow is one of the best strains I've tried, but this was like back in the day when like it first came out. Not now. It's not the same.
Yeah, it really depends on the grower you get it from too, because you'll have a lot of people who claim that they're growing a strain, but it's really something else or it's a cross of something else, you know?
And like Florida, like is it still like how it was, or like has it improved like the community, even with if it's just medical?
It's it's improved and gone down. It improved with the quality of product, with the variety of product and brands. Prices have gone down since I left. Uh, there is more of a focus on terpene education and cannabinoid education than before, but it's also gotten worse in the sense that um, Well, there is no nice way to put it. Like people are generally rude to the bud tenders. And
But what is that?
yeah,
Like, why?
I don't know. Like people act as if the bud tenders grew the plant themselves and that they're personally responsible for their order. When
Hmm.
it's some dispos, you have one person handling the product and somebody else who's doing the sale. Sometimes you'll see something and you think it's in stock, but then it's a computer issue. Sometimes your card reader goes down and you can't sell anything to anyone. And people think that it's you as a bud tender trying to ruin their day. And it's like, my guy, I just work here.
Right. Like, I'm just here from 9 to 5, bro.
Do you
Bro.
have any crazy story, Nadia, of like one of the craziest customers that you've had?
Oh my God. I have so many stories, like as a bud
Tell us.
tender, as
Please
a
tell us.
medical marijuana receptionist. Oh my
Sounds
God.
like it's gonna be interesting.
I know. It looks like we got another
Okay.
hour. Let's go. Let's go.
So I was working at this dispo at the beach, and we had this old man that would come in, and he would come in like maybe every other day. And one day he said, "Oh, I can't wait to take my trip over to where was he going? Like Pensacola or some shit. And I can't wait to just travel with all my bud and stuff." And I'm like, "Okay, I know your favorite strain is blueberry muffin. We're gonna get a restock of it on this date. Do you want me to call you when we get it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sure." So it's the day of. I call him, and at my dispo, you could call the people ahead of time and reserve it on their rack so they definitely have it by the time they come.
That's
So I
dope.
call him and he's like, "Oh, I'll be there in about 3 hours or so." And I said, "Do you want me to save any of it for you? I can just put it on your rack and you can just come and pick it up." And he's like, "No, I'm gonna take my time. I want to see what else is in store." And I'm like, "Well, you could still save this and then just add things to your order as you're in store. Are you sure you don't want to save it?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good." So at my dispo, the way how they sold weed was kind of like shoe drops in a sense. So when they had a strain that came out, it was a limited amount and it generally sold out in like 2 hours or less. So we sold out in 47 minutes. The guy came 4 hours later and he's like, "Oh, do you have my flower ready for me?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, sir, but we're sold out." And he just had this like 1,000 yard stare, like he was remembering the Vietnam War, some shit. And then he started shaking and turning red. And I sincerely thought he was possessed by a demon or something. And I'm like, "Sir, are you
Get the
okay?"
heck out of
And
here.
then he just starts spazzing the fuck out. Like, I swear to God, I see him foaming at the mouth. And he starts yelling and screaming, like, "I told you I needed this flower. I told you I need this. This is the only thing that helps with my back pain." Da, da, da. And at one point, he gets so mad that he takes the slushy that he has in his hand and he throws it at my head at the dispo.
No,
Damn.
damn.
He
That's,
missed though.
oh,
Oh, okay,
okay. That's
good,
what's up.
good.
He Nah, it just
That's
it
what's
just hit the
up.
wall. I would have been irate if it hit me, but like he left after a while. And that wasn't even the craziest part. The craziest part is that my manager was like, "Huh, so you have another customer coming in about 3 minutes. There's some paper towels in the bathroom over there." And I'm like, "Are you kidding?"
He's probably your manager's like, move along, sir. It
I
cost
was like,
That's
security.
crazy.
"You want me to have a straight face after that? Bro."
Like, how you gonna act like nothing happened after that shit? Like, come on, man.
Right, at least a little 15-minute break, so come on,
Right. At least let you hit the pen or something.
right.
Right. Eat a little
Hit,
edible or
hit the
something.
Benjamin. Funny as hell.
All right, go take a 5 minute smoke break.
Yeah,
No,
that was the second craziest thing at the dispo. I think the craziest thing was when we had a guy who ran through the lobby who was high on PCP and he was doing some crazy shit. And eventually he ran out and then ran across the street. He almost got hit by a couple cars, but yeah, he just came in and left. That was the most Florida ass shit I've ever seen. It's just imagine you're sitting in a waiting room. It reminds you of a doctor's office. There's some light music playing, and then you have this guy with long hair that runs in topless. His eyes are white as hell, and he's just speaking straight gibberish. And then he tries to crawl on the wall like he's a fucking cockroach, running up and down the stairs, running all throughout your office, stares at you, and then leaves. It's like, okay,
Like, what the fuck just happened?
I am in Florida.
That's crazy.
Were you there at that time when, remember, I'm not sure if you guys remember. Do you guys remember when I forgot the dude was, Buddy was like off some shit and he ate the homeless guy's face? Remember that back in like
What? Oh, was it
20,
Flocka?
what we mean? Which,
When, because I seen some videos like back then and shit too. It was like some drug called Flocka that motherfuckers were like,
I'm not sure what was it, but it was a dude that it was on some shit and he like literally went and like started eating like the face of like some homeless guy. This happened, I think, in Miami, I believe. Y'all
no.
remember?
This sounds like something I heard on the Unnoticed podcast.
Y'all for real don't remember? Watch. Y'all gonna be like,
I
Oh, you gonna bring it up?
oh
You
yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna
bring it
bring it
I
up right now.
up?
I'm gonna bring it up. Bro, I wish we had a Jamie here, man. But watch.
Nah.
I
No,
got
but back to what you were saying, Nadia. So back to the story. So there's no like screening process to get in there because like over here, like you have to scan your ID, go through a door, and then like you have to, the security guard has to wand you down, and then you show your ID again. You know what I mean? How did he just get in there and start just like crawling on the walls?
You could just walk into the building. Like it
Really?
was a giant glass building. All you had to do was open the door. You could honestly just walk past reception, just walk through one door, walk into the next door that's like 10 feet away, and walk into the dispo. We did not have any security guards. Now, up here in Michigan, they have you go into a mini room that doesn't have anything in it. They have a
Hmm.
security guard who wants you down. You have to show the ID and stuff, and then you're let into the waiting room. And both rooms have locked doors, so it's not like somebody can just walk in.
Right. That sounds crazy in Florida just to have it like that. I don't know, that's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't care.
I'm sorry, y'all. Hold
Definitely.
on. I believe I'm like I found it, I believe.
Ooh,
Hold
let
on.
me see it.
I got you. I got you. Hold on. It was Buddy doing bath salts. There you go.
Oh,
Ugh, another bath salts guy.
Was it?
that's crazy. I never even heard of that. What do they do?
Nah,
Just like,
hold on. I'll show you the new kiss. All right, hold on. I got you already. But I'm again very surprised that you guys haven't like seen it. Hey,
noise.
you guys hear it?
Mm-mm.
Nope.
You guys can't hear it?
Nope.
Should put on the captions.
Um,
That little CC right there in the
CC,
bottom. Yep.
little some.
Little some. Yep.
Little some. You know what I mean? Damn, that sucks. You guys cannot hear. I thought you guys could hear this shit. Give me 1 second.
Maybe it's because you got the headphones on, but
Nah, I don't think
uh,
so. Uh,
look, there's a man right there, Barack, right there.
how about now?
Uh-uh.
Nope.
Okay, fuck. Well, anyways, let me see if I can find an article. Uh,
Back in 2012.
yeah, okay. Yes, I see.
Oh,
The attack in Miami on Saturday, during which a man was biting off parts of another man's face. Uh,
Well, I gotta show
zombie
the video
bro.
now.
there you go. Yes, when everyone started, we thinking the zombie apocalypse were started to happen and shit. There you go.
Zombie bro.
Damn.
There you
That
go.
poor guy.
Where everybody kept seeing this video and stuff.
That poor guy, bro.
It was a homeless guy just I think sleeping and shit, and then he comes buddy tripping and shit, just eating. I think his ass was naked too, to be honest.
Bro, imagine. Oh my God.
That's fucked up.
Fucking sleeping, wake up to that shit.
Nah, shit, that's fucked up though. Imagine like you just sleeping and shit. Next thing you start feeling like your fucking bone cheeks and shit. Flesh coming out. Imagine all that pain. Damn.
God, don't do drugs, kids. Just do plants
Right, just the
Natural.
weed.
Yeah.
That's
Weed and
it.
shrooms. Weed and shrooms.
for life.
You do shrooms, Nadia?
I do
I know over
once
there
a
in
year.
Michigan. I know in Michigan, there's some. Is it some parts in Michigan that's legal over there?
Yeah, at certain cities like Hazel Park, Detroit, Ferndale. I want to say Warren, but the main three cities are Hazel Park and Detroit and
Do
stuff.
you guys have those like shroom chocolate bars out there or no?
Oh, yeah, we have the chocolate bars. We have these like little gums. There's people who buy it dried, and there's a lot of places that sell the grow kits and they give you the spores.
See, I heard growing shrooms is way easier than bud. Like it only takes like a couple months.
Yeah, based on what I've seen, and there's so many different mediums you can use to grow it.
Would you
Mm.
trust like those? I'm not sure. Like over there in Michigan, like if you go to like a smoke shop, like you see like they be having those like mushrooms, like brand and stuff. Like, would you trust those or not?
If I was able to like take a picture of the brand, do some extensive research, see their lab results and their sourcing and stuff,
Hmm.
that'll tell me whether to determine the brand or not. Same as weed.
Now see if
I was actually
go ahead,
sorry,
go
but
ahead.
I was actually gonna ask you that too. Like, do you guys trust the weed that's in the smoke shops?
That's what I was gonna say.
Nope.
If it has a QR code, maybe, but it just depends. You got to try it first. You know what I mean? But like it's like Nadia said earlier, it's trial and error. You know.
I'm not too
Yeah,
sure, man. Those are iffy, especially when they say it's Delta 8. And I'm like, I don't know,
Uh,
man. Or
I don't
maybe
like
they.
yeah,
Delta 8.
no for me for Delta 8.
Mm-hmm.
What's
And
your
there's
intake on Delta 8, guys? This is for both of you guys.
go ahead,
It's
Nadia.
uh it's the modern day spice, in my opinion.
Mm.
Delta 8 is a man-made cannabinoid. It's not a naturally occurring cannabinoid. Um, if I'm looking at an alternate for Delta 9, I'm not going to look for something that's made in the lab that may or may not give me like paranoia and stuff like that. That and a lot of products out there, it's it's fake, honestly. There's a lot of companies that claim to sell WA products, but they don't. They sell like CBD or CBD and THC one to one. There are some places that don't provide lab reports. There are some places that provide fake lab reports. And seeing how there's very, very little research in Delta 8 itself, it makes me weary about trying any Delta 8 products, especially when they claim to help with certain things when it's just a fact that we don't know much about it.
See, I didn't know that Delta 8 wasn't a natural thing. But when I first tried it too, I will say it did give me like headaches and stuff like that too, and I really just didn't enjoy the high off it. It just felt like something that, you shouldn't ingest into your body. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's very interesting though. That like how you were saying, that it's like half made. Like again, I didn't know that neither. Interesting, but it's very interesting that you're saying all this because like over here in like Chicago, we have like this little like I guess you can say I guess like food joint, whatever. I don't know, but there's a lot of many locations. It's called Wake and
Oh,
Bakery,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
and they all do is like serve like coffees and stuff and like baked goods, but it's all Delta 8. So now it's like, interesting. Like, do they even know what Delta 8 is now? Or
I,
like, like.
they do a good job of educating you. Like when I went, you know what I mean. They do a good job of educating you, but I don't know. I wouldn't trust it. I've tried it once. It's all right.
Yeah, like it's been a fat minute since I've been there, but like
Mhm.
after talking to like other people, it's just very I get a mixed feeling on the Wake and Bakery for like stoners though.
No, and one thing I did want to say too is like even some dispensaries out here, and I've experienced in like Colorado too, they'll sell Delta 8 and try to like pass it off as like, Delta 9. Like they'll have it on for their specials, for the week, and if somebody asks for it, they'll be like, "Oh, it's the same thing as Delta 9, it's just a different cannabinoid or something like that."
Yeah, and it's simply not the case. It's not the case. And I feel sorry for people who buy like Delta 8 flour, for example, because Delta 8 flour is simply not a thing. Like you can't grow it. You can either grow hemp derived flour or marijuana derived flour. All Delta 8 flour is just CBD flour with distillate sprayed on top of it.
And that's like it could be easily laced and shit then.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
Like
sad.
that crippy they have.
What is that?
You ever heard of Crippy Kush?
Mm-mm.
Nah.
Okay, so Crippy Kush is it's basically just laced weed. You can find it a lot in like the South, you can find it in South America, you can find it in the
Wait.
Caribbean, but it's weed that's laced with cocaine or laced with fentanyl and stuff. So yeah, something to be cautious of as well. If somebody says, "Oh, do you want to hit this Crippy?" It's no, it's not some OG Kush, it's not some new strain. That shit is laced.
I'm sorry, but wait, question. I should have asked before we even started, but do you speak Spanish by any chance or no?
I used to, but not anymore.
No. Oh, okay, okay. Just because of how you said it, I was like, wait, isn't that like a song in like in like isn't that like a Bad Bunny song? Like, but I don't think so. Is it? I'm not. That's why I'm looking at it right now.
It's in a few
Crippy
different
Kush.
songs.
Yes, right? I'm not tripping. I was like, I heard of Creepy Kush before. I'm like, well, where? But yes, there you go. Now I know. Yes, it's cause it's like that. But
No, that sounds worse than like K2 or something like that. That sounds way
oh,
worse.
remember Jordan? That's the story. Remember when Buddy bought it off from Amazon. Remember
Who?
when it was
Huh?
in the
Back.
dorms? Remember
Oh,
with
dude,
Tony?
no, no, he was selling some CBD Kush. He was selling some CBD
Oh,
Kush. It
okay,
wasn't. It
but
wasn't no K2. That would have been crazy if they're selling that shit off Amazon.
but that was crazy though.
I've never even seen like K2. I've just heard about it like that. Like that's just a synthetic weed.
Oh yes, guys, it is a song. Oh no, you guys can see. Hold on. Oh, God, can
What's the
y'all
name of
see
the
it?
song?
You know what? Hold on, yeah.
Oh, you gonna pull it up? You gonna play it for us?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't. I gotta figure out how I could share and share the audio with you guys.
Technical
But there you go,
difficulties.
guys. See, Creepy Kush, y'all.
Oh, Faruko's on it.
Yeah, there you go,
Okay.
yeah. So y'all wanna listen to that? This is 2017 type shit. But yeah, I was in my high school days still back in them days.
He said fumando como Snoop Dogg. He's funny
Yeah.
as hell.
No, but yeah, so I kind of agree though with if you guys are trying to low key cut off on like the THC levels or just, find something, other than CBD, I most definitely go to alternative cannabinoids. Like I was telling Jordan a little bit briefly, but like recently I was actually talking to Lit Labs. I'm not sure if you are familiar with them over there since in Detroit.
No, I haven't heard of that company.
Oh, yeah, so it's a Lit Labs and they're also I guess the other brand is called Made by a Farmer. So they're a Michigan cannabis company based in Michigan in Ann Harbor. Is that how you say it? Pronounce it? Ann Harbor.
Oh, Ann Arbor.
Ann Arbor. There you go. Yeah. So they're located there. And they were just talking to me about it, and they actually gave me some like freebies to try out. But they're like there were gummies of different cannabinoids, like it was like CBN, THCV, like CBDV, and stuff like that. Which like while talking to them, I was learning because like I never heard of all these different cannabinoids, and like little did I know like there's a lot of beneficial to these cannabinoids that could I feel like the more that we discuss on these different type of cannabinoids, the more like it could help us on how we shop as well. Because at the end, I feel like it's either THC or CBD.
How do those gummies affect you though?
Um, so here's the thing. So I did a review. It's already on our YouTube channel. For everybody who have a chance, yeah, I want to pop that out and see it. But the taste, I didn't like the taste, to be honest. Uh, it really tastes more like the weed taste than whatever the flavor was.
Hmm.
But but just on the research that I guess that there is out there and stuff, like one cool thing is like for the CBN gummies, for CBN, it's only like 25% effective as THC. So like for one, like to take, I guess like as much, I guess like, I don't know I think there were like six gummies in a pack. So I think if you were to take all six, probably would feel something. But I think like for just somebody who isn't like doesn't have a high tolerance, I think with one they would feel something though.
But did it give you the same effects as weed, or was it like
Nah,
something different?
it was. I think at one point because I took a dab after eating the edibles. I think at one point I just like felt very relaxed from like my mind and my body. Like it just felt very relaxed at one point.
Because I've taken like I've told you before, I've taken the CBD gummies to like help me like go to sleep or something, or like after a workout. That's really the only thing I've taken like close, like similar to that. But
Another thing, for with most of these different cannabinoids is that they kind of don't make you get hungry. So it's like an anti-hunger shit.
mm,
So that's another cool thing about these is like it's not gonna make you get the munchies like if you were to like consume something that has THC in it. So
Yep.
so again, it's like different benefits to these type of cannabinoids. Again, I think it'd be nice for I think just in general the industry to just be more aware of these because again like it could help a lot of people more.
yeah, I
Right.
feel like it depends on the person what they use it for. Like
Yeah.
I know there's like some people, couple of family members that use like full spectrum CBD like tincture and stuff because they're like firefighters. They'll use it like after work and stuff, and it helps them with their body or like if they're sore, or, like just have injuries from work. It'll help them a lot rather than like people who just take like the regular tincture like this. Um, it's full spectrum, and then there's another one too. I can't think of the other name, but like there's two different purposes for them. You know what I mean? So
Broad spectrum.
broad spectrum. Yep, yep.
Yeah. And then I think another thing that I just remember is that these also help with like seizures and stuff like that too. So it's like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
another good thing. Um but yeah, so another thing that I think we see here is that now that you say you know a little bit about like generating multiple like revenues and stuff like that.
Yep.
And we can tell us a little bit like on more on on that type of like topic and stuff.
Um, all right, I guess I'm gonna focus it more towards Canna creators because a lot of people think that you can't make money online because of all the restrictions on social media and stuff. But
Hmm.
there's a lot of different ways you can make money online. Like you could have, say, a podcast and monetize that way. You could create your arts and crafts. Like you can create bongs, you can create like accessories for your glass pieces, accessories for your pouch, different types of rolling trays.
Mm-hmm.
You could, if you're really knowledgeable about the industry, or maybe you have a certain type of certification, you can offer consultations for people. There's so many ways that you can make money nowadays with cannabis.
But see, I feel like with like for I think a lot of people, I think the hard thing is like guiding through how to get to that point. You feel me? Like for example, like for one to like one has a certification or just for one to even want to work in this industry without even being in a dispensary, like how can they start up by themselves?
Oh, I'm sorry. The last part of what you said cut off there.
Like how can they start up how can they start up by themselves?
Well, I'd say the first thing you could do is research. In this industry, knowledge is power. Research, research. And when you're done researching, figure out like what are you most comfortable with? Do you want to talk to people face to face? Do you want to do something at home? Are you interested in film and making content? Are you someone who just likes to work with their hands and make stuff? Figure out what works best for you. Don't try and hop on whatever is trending. Just be authentic, stick to what you like, and from that point, just practice. Like for myself, for example, I want to get into like more paid reviews and stuff. And the best way to practice is to do reviews on my own. Just buy stuff at the dispo, tell them my genuine thoughts about it, and hopefully a brand will eventually reach out because they see I'm honest with my reviews, I give thorough reviews, and I'm just being my truest self.
So then like within like how you were saying like for like the internet and like social media, like it's not really like I guess for some type of post it could be monetized and some can't. But like how can one like um oh, fuck, I hate this times when I lost my train of thought. Fuck.
Different ways to monetize on social media.
Um how can I say this? Fuck. Oh my God. Fucking hate this shit. I'm telling you, man, it happens at least every one time
One,
in every
once
episode,
every
bro.
episode.
Literally once every fucking episode, bro. What was I gonna say? Shit, I'm so sorry. Jordan, you got
No,
something to say
but
while I was
no, I
putting my
mean
shit together?
just just going off what Nadia said. I feel like we could take a lot in
Hmm.
of what you said because I know Chino has been trying to do the reviews and stuff like that too, and I feel like you got to start somewhere too, and I feel like they've been going pretty good, so far, and I feel like what you said you could just take a lot from.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. I mean, like, even just for people out there who's just listening, and I think it's just more of like the guidance, you know? Um, but like I think it's just the learning process within like whatever you're doing, whether if it's an industry in the cannabis industry or even just some in general.
Hmm.
I think it's just a learning process on whatever you're doing. But at the same time, I think it's like sometimes it's helpful to know the resources or know, some like somebody or somebody that's willing to help others get to where they're at. Because like I think how we mentioned before, it's more like I feel like it's a little more competitive here.
For sure, for sure. The best advice I can give to people who are trying to be like paid creators or Canna influencers is to figure out your niche or figure out your top three niches, stick to it, pre-plan as much as your content as you can. Try and do batch work when it comes to your content. Like spend maybe one day out of the week and spend like 4 or 5 hours just filming content, creating new posts, planning your posts. If you're somebody who uses Instagram, for example, you can schedule up to 10 posts a day, 30 days in advance.
Oh, cool. That's what's up.
and it's free.
Nice. I know for some apps it'd be like taxing like a little fee, a monthly subscription for like, to help you monetize and boost your audience. Like what do you think on that? On those type of like apps and stuff like
It doesn't work. Honestly, what works is just doing the old school method. Like me personally, I'll look at who I follow, I look at their follower list, and I try and look for different accounts that are similar to my account, or I just look for people's accounts that are interested in cannabis. Go on there, check it out for a bit, like what I like, leave a comment here or there. And when people see that you're frequently interacting with their account, they're going to be like, who is this person? They're going to look onto your account. They're going to be like, huh, I'm interested in your stuff. And they'll interact with your stuff.
definitely for
It's,
sure.
you really have to look at the community that we kind of have because it's so hard for cannabis content to be pushed out there on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, I feel like not a lot of like content is really being pushed out there as much as possible. I feel that's why within I think the community itself should be like helping everybody out, by like sharing and liking or commenting, like how you were saying. But I actually got my question from earlier, which is like from like I guess your point of view as a cannabis influencer, have you like knew like have you like navigated through the algorithm of Instagram, for example, like on how you can get as much views as possible and as much as activity as possible?
So I'm going to be completely honest. When I was taking my content very seriously, like posting professional things like 3 times a day, doing news articles, doing studies, cannabinoid information and stuff, I didn't have a lot of reach. And then when I was verified, my engagement like shot through the roof. And after that happened, it went down a bit. And I was like, maybe I should relax with this account a bit. Instead of being so professional, show a little bit of my other side, be a bit funny with stuff. And when I started posted like funny, relatable content and more recipes, I noticed my engagement and stuff went up.
So it's more like try to be in everybody's shoes or something like that, or like try to be more relatable.
Um, just don't stress it, honestly. Yes, I want to deliver educational content to people and help them debunk cannabis, but like at the same time, it's not the serious, girl. Like you don't have to be talking like it's a lecture every time. Sometimes you can just crack a joke or just shoot a fun fact about a strain or something, and it'll reach more people.
Yeah, and I was telling Chino too that like the more you do it, the better it's gonna get. You know what I mean? Like the more you practice it, the more you're gonna find your niche in it. The more you're gonna find the things that you like to do. So I feel like it's more that you just got to go out there and do it.
For sure. For sure.
No, totally for sure. Jordan, my guy, do you have anything to say or
Um,
for asking since we're like on the topic right here?
no, as far as like, cause I know that she, as far as the revenue, she was talking about how to monetize, your viewers and stuff like that. I did want to ask a couple questions about how the dispensaries, handle their money, but I don't know if if you saw that part, working in the dispensaries and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I did. And I did do some marketing work and some content creation for some dispos back in Florida.
Hmm.
So basically, every dispo has, what's the best way to put it? Every dispo has their theme, and they try and look for creators that match their theme.
Hmm.
And depending on the dispo, a lot of dispos will try and go with free content with some popular influencers. They don't like to shell out that money unless it's for like truly educational purposes. Like they're going to have a workshop or they're asking a famous researcher to come by their dispo. They'll
Mm-hmm.
put out the money for that. But when it comes to people who are like talking about their new hoodies or their sale and stuff, they'll try and go for people that look like they live that disposed lifestyle and they don't really want to pay people. Some dispos are starting to pay people, but a lot of companies do not like to pay influencers. They'd rather go like, hey, we want to give you 10 to 20 free products and you advertise
Mm-hmm.
for us.
Mm-hmm.
And we should be respected and paid for our work just like any other type of content creator.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna ask too. They probably just try to pay you off with like the samples and stuff like that. Like, oh, you get the stuff for free, so you got to make the content for us.
I mean, it works. I mean, like it works for like a couple of times, but then at the end of the day, it's like it's your time. But if you're trying to make a real profession out of this, it's like, all right, this is how I'm getting my bread out of
Mm-hmm.
this. Like, I gotta eat too. I
Mm-hmm.
can't just fucking smoke and not eat.
Right.
But
Yeah, the serious brands, the more reputable companies will reach out to you and they'll be like, "Hey, how much are your rates? Can we possibly come up with a plan?" And they are willing
Mm.
to pay content creators, but you can really tell who's a good brand and who's not a good brand with how they, go through their advertising and marketing and how they try and reel people in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. What
so
would you
base. Oh,
go ahead?
sorry, Jordan. No, let's say go.
No, I was just gonna ask what are some of the brands that you've worked with that say that you would say have that outlook,
Hmm.
where like they're more about helping people and like coming up with a plan and willing to pay people for what they're doing.
I would say probably Doghouse is a
Mm-hmm.
brand I can think of. Um, what was that company down south? Harvest House of Cannabis before they were bought. Grow Healthy was another company.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, can I say I found any? No. But
Oh,
down
but
south there were a few companies.
but
Yeah,
those
that
were those. Sorry, but those were all Florida brands down there that you just
Right.
mentioned. Okay, okay.
so you would say it was more they were more willing to do that in Florida rather than Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So based on like since over there, like what are like your top brands that you like to buy from over there in Detroit?
I love Church Pens. I absolutely love Church Cannabis Company. I enjoy Sozo. I enjoy Elements. I enjoy Pleasantries. What's another good one? Ripple. I really, really love Ripple. And yeah, those are my faves.
Have you tried Midden Astrax?
I have tried bin extracts. They're okay, but I noticed that their carts oxidize pretty quickly. Like after 3 to 6 months, they turn really yellow or they turn really
Mm-hmm.
dark. But with a church pen, it's good for about 10 to 12 months.
Okay, yeah. I gotta check on my pens then, because I actually went to Kalamazoo. Yeah, yeah, I got them in Kalamazoo, and I have like I could say like 10 carts in my closet that are Midden Astrax. So I haven't touched any of those, so I gotta check up on those now.
I wasn't aware that carts even do that.
Oh yeah, carts oxidize. It depends on how they were extracted because,
Mm-hmm.
there's ethanol extracted carts. They usually have a lifespan of like 6 to 8 months. And then there's CO2 extracted carts. Those generally last about 1 to 2 years.
Okay, those are nice. So I'm guessing like if in a dispo wise, those would be like the most pricier cards then.
Yeah, but they're not too pricey because, Michigan's fairly cheap. Like if you want
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
some decent
Yeah.
CO2 1 gram carts, it's like what, $20?
Oh. But yeah, that's amazing. Your prizes over there is just amazing.
Yeah, it makes me want to go, man. Like
Uh,
last time you went, just telling me the prices of what you got, and everything was really good quality. You know what I mean? Way better than down here.
yeah, no, I was have you gone to any other state? I mean states, any other cities in Michigan and shop?
Um, I think the furthest I've ever been was Ann Arbor.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice, especially when it came to the assortment of different deals you could get.
Okay.
But
And between there and Detroit, where do you think you could get more in Detroit or over there?
I definitely say Detroit because we have
Mm,
dispos like how we have gas stations. There's one on basically every block. They're everywhere. And you could be up at like 11 or midnight and there's still some type of dispo open.
What is like the latest you know that is open?
1 a.m.
Oh, shit.
So
Nice.
would you say the prices are just because of the competition?
Yeah, the market is oversaturated, so everything's really cheap. Now the most expensive flower I can really find is like maybe $40 an eighth. Carts, like a really, really good high-end live resin card. You can
Mm,
probably get a 1 gram for like $30. It's
mm.
very cheap.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to make
Yeah,
that
like
trip to down to Detroit.
the play like the ounce I brought home, it was from Play and I got it like for 100 bucks.
That
Um
was not bad.
that was yeah. Um and that was like the top shelf for that dispensary.
Oh yeah.
So I was
They
like,
have $50 ounces now.
they do, yeah. I'm like, damn, must be nice. Um But yeah, no, usually I tend to go a lot. And then recently, like just by going out there, made kind of a few connections. So I'm trying to, bring Jordan with me next time and to
Hmm.
Michigan and stuff so you can see how it is really. But I keep telling everybody I talk to the end that smokes, like just take a trip to Michigan. It's not too far from Illinois, and again, it's really worth it.
Yeah, and we have so many weed things to do here nowadays. Like compared to when I first came. Now you can find like weed-based yoga classes. You can find weed tours where you're on a little bus visiting different dispos and historical spots. They have like build your own bong pottery type classes.
Shit, I
There's
didn't know.
420 bud and breakfasts. There's so many different things you can do as a stoner here. I love it.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you guys had a lot of like stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And is that more like an often thing? Like is that like a casual like is that like often for these events to be out, or is it more like an everyday thing now?
Um, it's definitely more of an everyday thing now. Like th certain things are more active when it's closer to 420. Like you'll find more of those cannabis tours, you'll find more festivals and stuff. And then the general everyday items now are like the 420 bud and breakfast spots or social clubs where you can just sit down and chill and smoke in there, stuff like that. Bonfires, just smoking bonfires.
That sounds really interesting. I feel like that would be a really good time, like a little social club or a little bonfire. That would be my type of vibe.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's even like the 420 raves. Oh my God, they're so great.
Like what is that? Like I'm sure it's what like EDM music type, right? Or
Oh yeah,
uh,
techno, house, stuff like that.
and everyone's just blazed high as fuck, I bet.
Oh yeah, I went to one when I first came here and there were like 6 people who had these like, those leaf blower things. They put a whole bunch of
Mm,
bud in those leaf blowers and was just blowing smoke into the crowd.
that's crazy.
That's dope. But Nadia, do you have any questions for us or anything before I believe we wrap it up?
What are y'all's favorite consumption methods?
Oh,
Go ahead,
I'm a
Gino.
dab head, so I have my puff coal right here, and that's my favorite thing to consume. It's just wax. I love wax.
All right.
I'm more of a flower smoker. I'd rather like roll up a joint or like hit a bowl. But recently, Chino has been giving me on the dabs. Like right before the episode, I was taking little dabs right now too. But I'm more of a flower smoker.
All right. Cool. And another question I had for you is if somebody gave you $1 million and they told you you can create any type of business with it, but it has to be a weed-based business, what would your business be?
Uh, that's a good question. So I actually have this like little I guess little business plan that I've been having in the back of my mind, but like it's low key if I were to have that money, I would make it, which would be like a food joint infused, and it would be like dog friendly, so you could bring your pups and they would like I would have like treats that are infused and for them to eat and
Oh,
and and like and it's like literally I don't know why, but like I had like the whole logo and the name of it like all in my head. Like literally, it would be called Ozzy Smokehouse because that's my dog's name, and then the logo would be like a red doghouse with like smoke coming out and like a wagtail.
I love it.
I know, yeah, and like I would like serve like all different type of dishes, like some like pastas, pizzas, like burgers, like that type of stuff. Yeah,
So you would stick to the Italian cuisine.
yeah, and like have like TVs there, some music, play
hmm
some like
hmm
Kendrick or some Mac Miller, it's a little bit of jazz, for
Nice little, ni
Eli.
yeah, nice little vibes. Nice little
Yeah,
vibes.
a little blues for Eli. But yeah, so that I think I would do that for $1 million, a cannabis business.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. I think if it was $1 million, I would probably do a dispensary and try to make my own brand within the cannabis industry, whether it's doing flower, edibles and carts. But I would like to like make my mark where it's like everybody knows the brand and it's like it's gonna be like the top shelf stuff, you know what I mean? Almost
Right.
like not like cookies because I feel like cookies is more like hype and people don't get what they're really looking for. I want it to be something that's like catered towards the customer and then from that brand just make dispensaries from the brand that's already known, you know what I mean? And then possibly just keep doing chains, or just do multiple locations, but those multiple locations are going to be the same, brand dispensaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I
So,
have one last question for y'all.
before you ask the question, let me ask both of you guys a question. So how Jordan was saying that he would want to be the shelf.
hmm
So I feel like I think with every cannabis brand, I think that's what they're aiming for. But like,
hmm
what makes a company different to make it top shelf?
The customer experience, I think. Like, I feel like people want it to be personalized where they like go in and they want something that's curated just for them, what they need, whether they need it for pain, anxiety, whatever they need it for, you know what I mean? I feel like it has to be more personal than anything. And that's what really creates what's better because, yeah, you can have like something like cookies where it's just like, oh, this is some za, this is some exotic, but people aren't really getting what they need. What would you say, Nadia?
Hmm. I'd also agree that the customer experience plays a great role, especially if you have a personal connection with the customer.
hmm
Like, like when I smoke something, I don't want to smoke like the most popular thing at the time or something that's like, oh, this thing is gas. I'm telling you it's gas. Like,
Mm.
I want to learn about the plant before I consume it. Like, hey, this is the strain, this is the genetics, this is how you're going to feel. Tell me what type of experience you want so I can help guide you through that experience.
Okay.
Okay, okay. Um, what was your question that you were gonna ask if you remember, Nadia?
Okay, if you only had to smoke one strain for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That's a hard one.
It's hard, but I think I know my answer already.
What would it be?
Cereal milk.
Cereal milk?
And
That's a good one.
I say that because I always tend to find myself asking in dispensaries if they have any cereal milk on them, like on deck. But I will have to I will have to probably think of another strain though. But what about you, Jordan?
Um, I like more like gassy stuff. So like, I would probably say like some sort of like jet fuel. I would be good with every day because it's like strong, potent. It's like that hazy, like gassy stuff that I like. I don't like nothing too sweet. But then again, too, like I don't want to say that because then like sometimes I do be craving some, like some gelato and stuff like that. But like overall, if I like really had to choose, I would say either like some jet fuel or like some sour diesel or something. Like, something like that.
Hmm.
Have you
What would you
guys
say?
have you guys
Go.
tried Hypno Stink?
Huh?
Hypno Stink?
Hypno stink. What is that?
It's like it's very gassy, that's for sure.
Oh, it's like a strain?
Yeah, it's a strain.
No.
What about you, Nadia?
I would probably say berry gelato.
Mm.
Would you guys go for any cake? Any cake strain?
Wedding cake?
Mm,
Wedding cake? That's probably about it.
I like divorce cake.
I haven't tried that one. That one sounds interesting.
It's like wedding cake, but it has more of like a creamy, sweet taste.
Hmm. I'm gonna have to look for that next time I go to Michigan.
Yeah, it's a very heady sativa.
You said divorce cake?
Yes.
That's funny.
Since there's a wedding cake, there's gotta be a divorce cake,
Right? It's
y'all.
got to be divorce cake.
Fucking shit, man. That's what's up. But since you have like your like specific type of strains for different times, what's like your favorite time to smoke? Like, are you a morning stoner, a midday, or a nighttime?
Is all day stoner an answer? Like
Hey, that
I
welcome to the
smoke as
club.
Yep, yep.
Welcome to the club.
like I infuse my coffee and my breakfast as soon as I get up. I hit my pen when I'm on the way to work. I eat another edible and hit my pen when I'm on lunch.
Hmm.
I hit my pen again and I have like some serious edibles when I get home. I'm always consuming.
See,
Yeah.
I think just one last topic, but like, what's your intake on that though? Like smoking every day, like consuming every day.
As long as it doesn't get in the way of like what you have to do, you know what I mean?
Okay, let's say you're productive and all, you're on your shit when you're high and all, but like overall, is it should we be concerned of it or not?
Uh,
I
it
think
depends. Like there's certain events where you like got to not go high, like we're going to church or like like funeral or something. I don't know. Like you just I don't know. But like it depends on the event.
what about you, Nadia?
I think there's a big difference between like medical cannabis use, like on a daily basis, versus having a codependency. Like, without cannabis, I am not a productive person. Like, if I don't smoke, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm going to miss days of work. I'm not going to maintain my house or try and create content. Whereas consuming cannabis every day, it gives me the motivation to do my job. It gives me the motivation to be creative. It makes me move and do things. So if you're using it in a healthy manner, yes, I think it's helpful. But if you're someone who's like, oh, I'm anxious all the time without it because I've gotten too used to having cannabis, or I want to create an excuse to get high and not do anything instead of trying to be productive, then yeah, it is an issue. I think it depends on your personal relationship with the plant.
I feel like I think in my point of view, I feel like it helps. It's like a helping aid journey through life. Um, I think that's how I think how I see it. It just help. I think it just helps you go through life. I think that's how I put it. Um, because like I don't know, I think life it's just random as hell, and then you just never know what happens. You know what could happen the next hour or so. You know, it's just like instead of because I think one wants to one I guess live the way they want to live, but another way is like I'm not it's not trying to say like dependency or anything like that because like how Jordan said, like there's events where you can't go in, you can't go to a job interview stone as hell. You can't, like I don't know, like if you're like a sensitive smoker, like you can't drive if you don't know
Mm.
how to drive high. Like or like at certain things
Right.
you just can't function, and you gotta know your limits. So it's more like I think I have no other way to say it than just it's just helps you go through life. I think that's how I see it.
I agree to some extent because like there's some mornings where like similar to Nadia, like I won't be able to have my regular routine if I don't smoke. You know what I mean? Like I won't be hungry in the morning. I won't be able to get up and take a shower, do whatever I have to do. But then some like other mornings and stuff too where I have like almost like a weed hangover. Like I smoked a lot the day before. I
Hmm.
kind of don't want to smoke, until
Later
the end of
today.
the night. Yep, yep.
Because then again, you get like a little headache. I'm not sure if that's just me or
Mhm.
not, but you get a little
Mhm.
headache. I think that's
Yeah.
when you get too much of the weed in your system and all. Like, it's about time, bro. Chill down.
I get it. I definitely get it. I honestly don't smoke that often. I'm a social smoker. I mostly just do edibles.
Damn, you're wild. Those are rabbit holes. That I keep telling Jordan that those are rabbit holes.
Mhm.
I don't
Why would you
know.
say you're not a social smoker, Nadia?
Uh, well, I only really smoke when I'm with people nowadays. I guess because of my living situation and stuff.
Mhm.
Like I lived in a lot of different homes where it had a very strict no smoking policy.
Mhm.
And me personally, I notice that when I smoke a lot, I get sluggish. I don't do all the tasks I need to. I end up making a lot of weird munchies. And when I just do edibles or if I just hit my vape, I'm more clear-headed, I'm more focused, and I can do more of my day-to-day tasks.
Yeah, no, I get you.
I think it's just to one smoker's choice on on what they like to do when they're high. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I think if you just smoke a lot or whatever, you end up getting too high, then you just of course you're not gonna end up doing shit. But I think if you
I
take
feel
like
like it's
Yep.
a
if you take
very
like
fine line, you know what I mean? Like if you smoke throughout the day, you'd like, a couple of hits and you'll be fine. Like don't, go taking 3 dabs in a row
no, probably take
and
two
then
and
be
then
fucked up the
continue.
rest of the day,
You're right, and continue with your day. Take two and continue with your day. Um,
Uh, What'd you say, Gino? You kind of cut out.
what was the last thing y'all heard?
Um, Oh, I completely forgot, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
You're walking on a very thin line.
Did I
That
say
was
Oh
the
that
last thing I
already?
no,
heard.
well that's what I was saying was it's a very thin line because like if you're smoking all day, you can't get too high. Like usually I just take a couple hits and I'll be fine, but you can't go around taking like 3 dabs and then just be fried, when you got to be doing something, It's a very fine line between, smoking and being productive and then smoking way too much and then just being there you know, like stuck.
Right.
No, but yeah, yeah. Um, I think that'll be it. I mean, you have any more questions for us?
Nope, that was it for me.
All right, then, Nadia. My boy Jordan, do you have anything else to say, my guy, before we wrap it up? I believe we did pretty good.
Nah, I mean, I think it was very productive. I feel like I learned a lot, and if the viewers were listening, I feel like they would have learned a lot too. And it was a very good, conversation overall.
For sure. And again, we appreciate you giving us your time. And it was pretty dope to have you as our first guest for the new year. And again, it was a good way to start the Canna podcast for 2024.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really great. I'm glad I had this convo.
Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. Then again, like I told, we tell everybody, we're always happy to continue working together with everybody we've talked with. We're always open to making collaborations with a lot of cannabis people in the industry. So
Definitely got to have you on again.
for sure.
Well, I'm excited. It was so great to talk with y'all. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening and a wonderful week.
Thank you.
You
Yeah, I
too.
know
You
it is
too.
Monday, so it's the starting of everybody's week.
Oh yeah, I gotta get up at 4:30 tomorrow to get ready for my job.
Damn.
Yep, I'm a gardener, so we're there from like 7 in the morning until like 5 or 6 at night.
And what do you like garden like plants in general or
Yeah, I'm a general gardener for commercial facilities. So we do clones, we manage the veg plants, we do the mom plants. I'm just working with thousands of plants a day in hot ass rooms under these lights and fans.
Wow, that
man?
sounds excruciating.
Yeah, my family, they did a lot of gardening and farm work, so to me it's like, oh, childhood skills that I was forced to learn is actually being put to good use.
Hey, you're making a good buck off it.
Yeah, and I love just working with the plants, seeing all the plants in the morning. Like, wow, I remember when y'all were tiny twigs, and here you are producing buds that are as big as my arm.
Do you just last question, do you grow your do you grow cannabis yourself or no? Since you are a farmer or gardener,
Not
sorry.
Not yet, not yet. I currently live in a place where I don't have any type of yard, but whenever I do get my own place, I cannot wait to start gardening. I'm going to try indoor, I'm going to try outdoor, I'm going to try hydro. I'm so excited. And I have so many seeds that I've saved up over the years. I'm so excited to get started gardening myself.
Is it similar to like a normal thing, like a normal plant that you're working with? Is it similar to growing cannabis?
It's like tomatoes to me.
Okay. And I'm guessing tomatoes
I don't know.
isn't that
Every
hard?
time I've tried it, I could never get past like the sprouting phase. You know what I mean? I could always get the leaf to show up, but I could never get it to go past that. I I
Mm.
I know like you always have to have like controlled temperature. You have to have controlled times where it's like light and dark for certain strains, but I'm not sure.
Do you have it under a cup?
Yeah, yeah, to like drain it out, to drain the what you call it, the soil out so it's not too moist on the bottom. But like this is like years ago. That's why I said earlier I'd rather try what we call it growing shrooms than bud.
Yeah, I get it. I'm learning a lot from this job and I'm taking a lot of notes before I start my own grow. I'm probably going to do a hydro because that's mostly what I work with.
Nice. You gotta send us some samples when they grow up.
Yep.
For sure. But we'll wrap it up from here, Nadia. Again, thank you for sliding the Canna Vibe podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed your time here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I hope y'all have a wonderful evening.
For sure. Thank you likewise. And ladies and gentlemen, we won't probably see you to the next podcast episode or vlog. If anything, have a good rest of your day. This is your host Chino, my boy Jordan, and our guest Nadia. Calling it you guys out from the Canna Vibe podcast. Take it easy, y'all.
Later.